And one of the last topics I wanted just to round up on is just to see if, we Whitney Houston passed away on the 11th of February,
Hmm.
2012. And, there were different articles, one by Billboard, no, I think it was Rolling Stone magazine,
Hmm.
put Aretha Franklin as the greatest singer voice ever,
Hmm.
put Michael Jackson in number 86, which is a shame of them. They didn't even put Celine Dion in the top 200, but I think they put Whitney Houston in the top six. And I wanted to get your sort of 10 R&B female artists that you would say, what, these 10 are on a league of their own. I mean, most people might look at Aretha and Whitney Houston, but just from your personal perspective, which would be your top 10 female artists?
Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna be real quick. When you see the rock and roll Rolling Stone list, those lists they've changed over time, and with the inclusion of so many different groups and stuff like that, they
Mm.
have to expand the list. So what happens is when you see the rankings of people and stuff like that, they're gonna fall up and down the scale. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to justify the list or whatever, but I'm just giving you that perspective because I've seen it. And you've got different type of singers, different group, in all of those lists that they have, not just the singers, but as far as the top 100 artists or 500 artists or whatever they got, when the music starts to, you have more groups, more artists coming in, you have to make space for that. So it's almost like, once again, you're dealing with a list. It's always going to be subjective. Now, of course, Michael Jackson, 86. So if they're talking about singers, yeah, that's kind of low. But at the same time, Michael Jackson as a singer, um, great singer, but it's almost like his the performance aspect kind of overshadowed his singing. To me, Michael Jackson was a stronger singer, when he was young, much younger. And
Mm.
then he got into the performance aspect of it, especially going after Bad, you know, it's more of the production, it's more, that type of thing. So I think it's when you see him dropping down, a lot of that has to do with that because they're looking at him as more as an overall performer versus a singer. But again, it's always going to be subjective. Now, my top 10 female singers, I'm going to go ahead and give them to you. I'm not going to say give them to them in a specific order because I don't
Okay.
want to leave anybody out. But I'll say this. Um, Aretha Franklin,
Okay.
obviously, because Aretha Franklin kind of modernized the female R&B singer in terms of identity, in
Mm.
terms of albums, because black music was singles oriented, and she kind of ushered in black females doing albums, and she had a prolific run, and she was really consistent. So she kind of like raised the bar. So Aretha Franklin obviously is in that category. Um, I would say Whitney Houston.
Okay.
I will put her behind Aretha Franklin, obviously, because what Whitney Houston did, Whitney Houston kind of also did what Aretha Franklin did in the 60s. Whitney Houston did it in the 80s to raise the profile of female R&B singers. And as a result of her success, you had a lot of other labels who were coming out trying to find their own Whitney Houston. So she kind of like was an extension of what Aretha was in terms of singular identity. So
Mm.
those are the two. I put Gladys Knight in the mix because Gladys
Okay.
Knight, her delivery, her tone, storyteller, very underrated. Because again, she came in before whole videos and all of that. And again, the playing field was so broad. You had so many great singers, but you know, and then between 1972 and about 1978,
Mm.
man, Gladys Knight was untouchable.
Wow.
And of course she's with the Pips, so they kind of look at them as a group. But if you go back and listen to Gladys Knight's catalog from 72 to 78, you'll see what I mean. All right,
Wow.
so I'll put Gladys Knight in there.
So that's number three.
Um,
Yeah.
that's number three. I'll go ahead and I'll put Anita Baker in there because what Anita Baker
Oh.
did
Mm.
is Anita Baker, even she comes out slightly before Whitney Houston with the Songstress album in '83, but she kind of establishes a lane for R&B music. It's not pop music, it's R&B music. It's elegant, and she's coming out when funk records and dance records are there. So she drops into that. So, you know, she kind of like, as you start seeing R&B going pop, Anita Baker's like holding the line. She's doing R&B, she's doing jazz, quiet storm type music. So, you know, I put her at number 4.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and give, let me see, Phyllis Hyman.
Okay.
Phyllis Hyman is number 5 for me, because Phyllis Hyman is like, imagine being better than everybody and you're not recognized. Phyllis Hyman can do quiet storm. Phyllis Hyman can do jazz. Phyllis Hyman can do up-tempo records. Phyllis Hyman could act. She was very beautiful, very statuesque, had a great identity, but she came along a few years before. She was like, came out, she's before her time, because she came at a time when R&B with Black female singers couldn't be the way a Whitney Houston was. They couldn't be like a Mary J. Blige was. You got all these different things going on at the same time. Clive Davis really tried to put the shackles on her. So I would say Phyllis Hyman. Okay. Then the next one would probably be, I got to throw Patti LaBelle in there. Patti LaBelle is a performer, powerful singer, great performer. I would throw Dionne Warwick in there, because Dionne Warwick has a classy voice, the type of music that she was doing. Had great longevity, very stylish, but she was totally different from the female churchy soul singer. She was very elegant. So it's almost like she's like a progenitor of what Whitney Houston would be doing later. So I'll put those in. So then if I want to go ahead and speed the lane up and add some more contemporary artists, I'm up at 7. So I got 3 left. So I'll put Mariah Carey in there, because Mariah Carey, obviously her durability, or her ability to change lanes, to do the big pop music and be able to kind of do the whole contemporary R&B thing, being consistent. So I'll put Mariah Carey in there. The next one I probably would I'll put Mary J. Blige in there, because Mary J. Blige is like the new version of Aretha Franklin, to where she kind of changed the game, to where the same way Whitney changed it is that now it was more about, she was a throwback to the soul singers. And she was like, even though she had the style, but she was the anti-glamorous, anti-star. She was a star, but was an anti-star. She didn't have the polish. She didn't have the polish of the people who were out, you know, in the 80s or whatever. But what it was that she had a connection to the fans, very prolific. She had a sound. She had a connection. Her music resonated with people. So it was almost like it was a new type of soul music. She had the soulfulness of Aretha Franklin, so to speak, in her own way. You saw flashes of Anita Baker, little jazziness in her singing. So she was like a mixture of all of those. But then she came in at a time when they was able to kind of mix the rap thing in there. So I would put Mary J. Blige there. The last one is extremely, extremely hard, but I would say, if I had to put somebody in there, I would just put, you know what? I will put Brandy in there. There's somebody else I can easily put in there, but I would just throw Brandy in there, because, you know, because I'm trying to cover errors. And what Brandy was able to do is Brandy comes out right on the heels of the whole Mary J. Blige thing, hip hop soul thing, and has her vibe, what she's doing. And she comes out and it's more like a more youthful vibe, like a young Michael Jackson. And then she matures. What I think is that what Brandy is for people who were either too young to be plugged into Whitney. Brandy is that for them in terms of her singing. So I would throw her in there in terms of the impact on the future singers, because she would be the blueprint for everybody else coming after. You know, who were like, most people who are fans of Brandy, they're born in 1990. They're born in the 2000s or whatever. So they, you know, they were too young to see Whitney and Mariah and all these people in their prime. So Brandy, what Aretha Franklin was for somebody coming up like I don't know, maybe like a Mary J. Blige or maybe like a Gladys Knight, because she's young enough to be young when Aretha Franklin comes out. They're all like the same age or whatever. But imagine whoever, like Aretha Franklin's coming out and somebody's 15 years old, like a Regina Bell or somebody like that. You see Aretha Franklin, you're like, oh wow, that's who I want to be. That's Brandy.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Now, when you start looking at records and stuff like that, I really think that I think she needs to be there. I think when you look, and there's some other people I could probably toss in there, Faith Evans and some other folks, but I would think Brandy is in the mix. And the reason why I lean heavily toward, I could have threw a Mickey Howard in there, I could have threw a Regina Bell in there, but they also come into the vein of the Whitney, because when Whitney set it off, all the other labels are looking for their own. Now, you know, they're signing a Regina Bell in 86. They're signing a Mickey Howard in 84, 85, 86. You know, so they kind of like fall in that. But that's my top 10.
Okay. Well, guys, it'll be interesting to find out if you agree with the top 10 that Sheldon has put together, or maybe you have other ideas as to what will make your top 10 greatest female vocalists within the R&B section. But guys, I want to thank you for tuning in, as always, for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, and all the usual stuff. We'll be back later with another topic, probably our top 10 men, and we'll see what's been happening in the industry till then. But appreciate Sheldon for today, and as I said, look up those artists that he did name and see if you agree with them, especially someone like Phyllis Hyman, who did not get the recognition that others did. But anyway, till next time, take care. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Please remember to like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Turn on the notification so you can always be alerted when we have a new video. But thanks for watching. Till next time.